I'd reached a point in like 2019, 2020 to where I realized is like, you did it. Like I'm basically financially secure for the rest of my life. And it's not an actively ongoing thing. I scaled myself down to 5 hours a week of work in a business that was doing high 5 figures a month at the time in profit. Welcome to the WAC Attack podcast. My name is Jon Cooper. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I like to party.
Let's go.
Welcome to the WAC Attack. Hey, John, thank you for coming out from Texas to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
We
flew all the way
appreciate you.
out here just for you guys. Yeah.
So tell everybody, we met when we were much younger, okay? And our journeys through life and through us being entrepreneurs sort of aligned when we were both young. Tell us about, yourself and where you started from, and we'll talk about the rest of your journey on the remainder of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So I was born in Tampa, Florida. I got a job in high school doing SEO, something that we bonded over at conferences. And from that part-time high school job, got really sucked into it, read a bunch of books. I ended up starting a blog before I left high school. And
The name of the blog was?
the name of the blog was Point Blank SEO.
Ooh.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And ironically, raised by a Quaker father who was very anti-gun. So, that went over well.
Yeah.
But
So what's your logo? It's a target. Oh.
Archery, Dad, archery.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, continue.
Yeah. So through that blog, which was just a passionate thing, I was just interested in doing something that wasn't purely academic and had like real world implications.
Applicability. Yep.
Yeah. And so in the January of 2012, it started to blow up. I started to have people contact me to like offer me actual money to do this. And at the same time, I was getting rejected by every school I wanted to get into. And so I was like, well, let's choose the alternative path because F the system. And
Certain doors are opening and you're walking through them.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so through that blog, I ended up starting an agency that I built, and I still technically run. It's basically winded down at this point. But my start in my entrepreneurial journey was just through a blog where I just shared my ideas with this thing that I had discovered. So,
And that thing was SEO. And for those who don't know what SEO is search engine optimization. It's how you get websites to rank high in Google search results, right? So obviously it sounds like snake oil, and salesmen and stuff like that.
oh yeah.
95%
But
of it is.
specifically, what do you do with SEO? Is there like a specific niche or something you work in?
Yeah, so most of my friends that made through the industry would be more holistic in terms of doing all the different parts. Because when it comes to getting it shown in Google, there's aspects of making sure Google understands what your website is about. There's aspects of making sure that your website loads fast. There's a lot of technical stuff. There's a lot of just like the quality of information on your website, whether that dictates whether Google thinks it's worth showing. And then there's a final piece of the puzzle, which is the specific part I did, which is, okay, when there's a million websites all about the same thing, how does Google decide which one is the best on that? Sometimes it's really not competitive. Sometimes you might have like 3 other like coin collector blogs to compete with for whatever it is you're writing about. But sometimes if you're like an insurance, there's a million people that would love to show up for car insurance in Google. And at that point, they need someone to signal to Google that their particular website is very trustworthy and authoritative. And the way that Google deduces that, and what made Google unique when they first started, was they looked at the links, the little hyperlinks within articles across the web. And the more links you had in the links from more trustworthy websites. So let's say if CNN wrote an article about Geico and they linked to Geico's website from that article, Google would see that as a vote. And so the more votes you have, essentially the more important you were. And so I ended up doing what is closest to essentially digital PR.
So you're telling me that you are like the puppet master of the popularity contest on the internet?
Wait, you're a link builder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes,
what link
but
building
not
is.
necessarily the places that Google thinks are like really good votes are not the same thing as the average person. So maybe the newspapers you read would be a really great place to be referenced. And that is true, but something like a government public website or like a university website, like that might not get viewed a lot, but like Google would trust those websites quite largely. And so it was more of being sneaky at not trying to get covered where every other PR person is trying to get covered, but actually looking for these other pockets of websites online that Google thinks is trustworthy. And that was sort of where I made my bread and butter to start, was looking after those sites.
So you're telling me that you are super niched up in the world of SEO with just building links, and then to build links, you had to go pick a super niche market to do that? I like that. I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people out there. Niching up is a good way to make some money.
It is. So the backstory is...
And hold on, Curtis. We did bring some whiskey for you. Right, we got some Bowman Brothers.
Amazing. Hey, Curtis, could you pour us some glasses?
Oh, yeah. I will pour glasses out of thin air. There you go.
Wow.
Hey.
Oh, my God.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. John, thank you for coming out from Texas.
Good to see
Appreciate you. Good to see you. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having me.
And if you hear that slurp, oof, that'll put some hair on your chest.
Definitely.
Some people might not want hair in the chest. Who knows? Maybe they want it on their forehead.
Yeah, European wax.
Because they got a 5 head because it's receding. I'm kidding.
All right, Bigfoot.